following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL, there's Willie Mason.
I've forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
Welcome to episode number 8 of The Take with Willie and Ian. I've never actually really listened to that intro before. You say the F word in it. It's very bad.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, no wonder we've got an explicit
Really?
rating.
Yeah, okay. Right
when
on.
you say I'm a 25-minute man, which just quietly, ladies, he's not.
2
welcome
minutes.
to the show. How are you, William? Good?
I'm good. Just come from a little promo we did for Deadly Choices. Like, I'm an ambassador for New South Wales Deadly Choices, so I would go out there, do a few photo shoots and, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that with Rennie Matua, so it was good getting out there. So they're starting some good work because I don't think they thought they were going to do anything this year because of COVID.
Yeah.
Obviously, everything's changed. All the rules have lightened up and we can get out into the country, so it's good.
That jersey, what's that jersey for? Do they pick a side and play a game, or is that just a merchandising thing?
Well, that's what you get. If you get your 751 health check,
Yep.
I could be wrong there, 715 or 751 health check.
Something number.
So if
health
you
check.
go in there and get a health check, you get that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so
That's
it's a
good.
great initiative because a lot of the Indigenous people, they don't get their health check because they want something. Now that they get that, they get a hoodie if they get their second checkup. So it's really working, that initiative, because they love that, because you can only get one if you get a health check.
That's great. So
Yeah.
we'll actually put, because it's a really nice jersey, so we'll actually put a photo of that up on our social media stuff so that you can see that and
Yeah.
go and get your health checked. I should, probably.
Sounds good.
No one will give me anything. I just won't get long-term illnesses. Just quickly before we go on, I just wanted to bring up Nathan Stapleton's injury. Nathan Stapleton obviously was a player for the Cronulla side, and I think he signed with the Roosters as well. He's been playing rugby union in a place called Boorowa. I've got some really good friends in Boorowa, and great horse country down there, and it's just awful. It's really affected the whole community. And Nathan Stapleton has been injured, if you don't know, in a game of rugby union, and he's had pretty significant injuries. So have a look and get on that GoFundMe page and try and put some support behind the family.
Hopefully they do. I'm not sure if rugby league community can help out. We went through such a tragic event with Alex McKinnon, and I know the NRL have really helped Macca out financially, and I hope rugby union does the same thing with Nathan, because this game we play, it's a brutal sport, and it's both union and league, and these are the worst case scenarios that can happen. So prayers go out to young Nathan. I remember playing against him a couple of times. A good kid. So he's got a GoFundMe. We'll put that on our website and everything. So hopefully rugby union, all the league community can help this kid out. And
we're going to donate $500 to the GoFundMe page for Nathan Stapleton. So we'll put up the things on our website, masonstake.com it's called. I'd look that up. I should probably know that.
It's so hard to remember.
I know. I'm just waiting for the Ian bit. Anzac Day, that was great. It's always good to – you actually went out to the game, didn't you?
Yeah. You know what was really good is that you had to either play in the Roosters and St George game to have an Anzac Day, or play in the Anzac Day test. So everyone else didn't really get the opportunity to play. So I think it was a great initiative by the NRL to put a whole round dedicating to Anzac Day. You know what I mean? Because some of these guys, if you're playing for the Titans, if you're playing for Brisbane or anyone else, you don't get to experience that, and you only get 17 players for the Australian team when they used to play the Anzac test. So I'm glad that everybody got to experience that, the last post, and how special those moments are.
I would like to have a big shout out to whoever designed some of those jerseys for that round. Yeah. It's not hard. Just make it a nice jersey that people want to look at.
Some didn't even try.
No, that para one looked like a unicorn spewed. The other thing I think that let's discuss. I mean, Canterbury obviously had some pretty, significant injury worries and COVID. And have you considered signing the bloke that did the L1-2 on the Broncos
That was
fan?
actually good, wasn't it?
He was in the 1 minute silence carrying like a pork chop, and the other bloke just went whack.
I think Mike Tyson started that.
Mike Tyson.
But I think, if you sit there and you disrespect in the last post, I think you deserve that.
100%. Not bad shots either.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
He had his shirt, Bulldog shirt, tucked into his jeans. You don't fuck with a person like that.
No.
No. If he's tucking his shirt in, he's ready to throw down.
And he'd rolled the sleeves up too. He was ready.
He was ready to roll. And, everyone they understood the disrespect that other guy was shown, and they didn't care.
Well,
that other bloke got kicked out. So
and full credit to the bloke who came over and he had the business shirt on and he had the jersey over the top. I love that. That's
stylish people up in Brisbane.
That is the worst look of all time. The Anzac round is good. The other thing, Will, what about Corey Horsburgh, who poor bloke's just about to run on and play a game of footy. He's chewing gum. And all of a sudden, the media see that he blows a bubble and they turn on him and go, oh, now he's had to come out and do a...
What?
It's not, he didn't do it. Like, he's apologised and said, but I mean...
But what did he do? Tell me about this.
He blew a bubble. Like, he was chewing bubble gum.
That's what happens when you chew chewing gum.
And then the camera caught him blowing a bubble during the minute silence and that. It's like...
Oh, it was during the minute silence.
But he wasn't really... I don't know.
They're just very picky and petty at what they pick on now.
Everybody has to pick. And he's apologised anyway, so leave him alone. The other thing that people are saying is disrespectful, William, is the old Viking clap, the Canberra Viking clap. And then Penrith.
What is happening to us? We just pick on that. Like, I was watching that game. Do you think anyone from Penrith or Canberra really give a shit? There's a rivalry there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It goes back to the freaking 91 grand final or whatever it was. That is very petty. I can't believe they even spoke about that. And what Ricky Stewart say, fuck me dead, and then just walked out. That's exactly what it deserved.
Has there ever been a more Australian press conference than a bloke getting asked about blokes clapping and him going, fuck me dead?
Fuck me dead. That should be a soundbite and just taken all around the world. Ricky Stewart, this is how you coach. I feel sorry for Ricky. Like Canberra are trying really hard. Penrith are a red-hot side. They're probably the best team in the comp. Like, you think he gives a shit about the Viking clap? No one cares. But we seem to make a big deal out of this. Is this disrespectful? No. It's like, who's going to get in trouble? Like, you could blame the whole of Penrith?
Penrith. It's all Penrith's fault.
They've done more disrespectful shit than a Viking clap. Trust me.
They got the first Krispy Kreme, Penrith. Yeah. I think if you look at... do you know what we should do, Zig? We should get that little soundbite from Ricky Stewart, and I should get a button, and every time Willie says something stupid, I get to press the button and it gets a play. We can bring that in. Penrith, I don't know. The thing with Penrith, at the moment, they've got a bunch of young kids who are genuinely good footballers. They grew up together. They have an air of, people are calling it arrogance. I just think they're confident. They're confident and they enjoy their football. And so it's no different from your dog side where you just knew you were better than other teams. Yeah. And so, you're enjoying your footy and it might come across as disrespectful. I do not see it as disrespectful.
Neither do I, because I sort of see, like, when you're in a dominant side, it's just that air of, it is an air of a little bit of arrogance because you're expected to win. You don't care. Like, you're not really worried about the opposition. You're worried about your own performance and how much you can beat the other team by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what Penrith looked like. Penrith and Melbourne, those sort of teams, they've got some mad swag. They've got confidence. They're not used to losing. That whole team there for the last 3 or 4 years have probably lost like 10 games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that, you're playing out at Penrith in front of your own people and they just have that swag. Like, I like it. I dig it. You know what I mean? They're confident. They're young. They're brash. And they're not going to put up with shit. They're going to beat the shit out of you. Try and just win.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can literally shut those people up, or the team, or that. Come and beat us at our home ground. I dare you. It's going to be hard.
And they've just got so many people that love them out there. And so you go to that ground, like it's a nothing game against Canberra.
They're just rolling up for
and it's just packed. It's really good to see, actually. I feel sorry for, like, you look at the reverse of crowds and say you look at the Penrith crowd and they're there watching a side that, won the comp last year and will go very, very close to winning the comp again this year. And then you got Newcastle up there where they got 25,000. Same sort of thing. They just love their rugby league. Yeah. And then they get served that dog shit from last week. And you go...
Newcastle people are there. They'd be very disappointed. Very disappointed. I've played up there for 3 years. I'm a Newcastle boy. They don't really care if you get beat. It's the effort. You just got to put maximum effort in. Otherwise, I tell you, they'll come and question you on the street. They'll pull you up. That's the sort of people they just want the team going out there representing them. Blue collar workers, rip in as hard as you can. The result will take care of itself. Usually, they want you to win, but like they want effort. And some of those plays on the weekend, they were subpar. And that's been very nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, subpar.
Much better than what you talk about off air. So I think the other thing, you put a tweet up during the Penrith game saying Penrith are the best team in the comp, and
What wankers?
but heaps of people is like, oh,
Great
Scoop.
take.
Thanks, Scoop. It's like, and then Melbourne come out and Melbourne put 70, but they put 50 points on and a half, and you go,
I should have doubled down and said, Melbourne.
Melbourne are the best team.
Melbourne.
But it's not like Penrith, like it's taken this amount of time for them to show that they are just capable of playing tough through the middle. They're capable. Like Penrith have literally in the last 2 weeks, I reckon, put their stamp on this.
Yeah.
But Melbourne come out and do that as if to say, well, hang on a second, we're here. Don't forget about us. So I think the other thing I find interesting, Will, everyone used to hate Melbourne. Now everyone loves Melbourne. The way they play with Pappenhausen and Munster.
It's weird. Maybe because Cam Smith.
I think it's got to be Cameron Smith.
Is. It's because Cam Smith used to rub the media wrong. They always wanted to see him fail because he just kept winning. Winning in Origin, winning in Tests, playing multiple hundreds of games, like breaking every single record, pretty much saying whatever he wants in the media. I love Cam. I know Cam's like personally, he's a great guy, great for the game, but I reckon they didn't like Melbourne because of Cam Smith.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
And now it's like you got Brandon Smith, you got Harry Grant, you got all these,
they're likeable.
Golden Child, Pappenhausens and stuff like, because they had a real big Queensland intingement there. Is that the right word?
Contingent.
Yes. Intingement. Is that a word?
No, it is now.
Oh, it is now.
Where's the Ricky Stewart?
Like Billy, Billy Slater and GI, they had, about like 8 Queensland representatives. Now you got a few Blues players. They had the Fox down there for 5 or 6 years and Kiwis and stuff like that now. So that Melbourne/Queensland team is pretty much out.
Yeah, but it is funny because you look at sides and there are certain sides that everyone sort of dislikes, like you've got your Manleys or your Melbournes or whatever, and then all of a sudden certain players leave and you go, well, did you not like the team or maybe you just don't like players?
Didn't like certain players.
Yeah.
That's what it was with Melbourne because Cam Smith, like he was captain of Australia, captain of Melbourne, captain of Queensland, 3 of the best sides in sports in Australia.
Here's one for you. Can Cam Smith come out and captain the Dolphins? Because they've got no other players. Zero players.
Who are they going to get? Hearing things that Munster's probably looking at either re-signing there or he's going to go to the Broncos. Something like that.
Yeah, right.
Like the Dolphins
Thanks,
are not.
Scoop. The Dolphins aren't
even in it. But who knows? Like I don't think they're completely out from Munster, but they have some good signings. But they just you got to fill a 30-man roster plus juniors.
Yeah.
Your reserve grade and everything. So you're talking 50. Can they sign 50 players?
Well, presumably they're just going to have to take Redcliffe and start pulling blokes straight out of Redcliffe into NRL. And I mean, those blokes at Redcliffe,
they're not up to
they
it.
haven't
Queensland
made
Cup players.
Yeah,
they don't deserve to play the NRL. So I don't think they'll do that. It'll just be a matter of time. Just because they haven't signed any massive marquee players like Munster and all that kind of stuff, they missed out on Harry Grant and all. There's going to be a lot of players that come off contract. People just need to understand it's round 8, get through the whole year, then they'll make their decisions. People can just jump out of the ground through Origin and all that kind of stuff into the grand final, semi-finals. So some young kids could be off contract this year and then, they're in a prime position. If you're playing right now and you're off contract and you're playing shit, you're in no room to negotiate. You know what I mean? There's only a couple of people like Munster, and Munster's there for another 1 or 2 years, right?
Munster's got another year, so he will literally not play unless the Storm release him.
They won't.
They're not going to release him.
You just got to pay Munster what he's worth.
I think
that's what he's complaining about. That's the only reason why his name's being thrown out there because I think Munster's worth $1 million plus.
Well, they're sort of talking 720, 750.
He's probably on that already.
Yeah,
he's probably on that already, and he just wants to get paid accordingly.
So, at what point do the Dolphins have to? Because I know people are off contract, but how many contracts get signed? Just in pre-season, you've got until October. Yeah. They still have to. I don't know.
I think after Origin, they'll have a few way more signings.
Yeah,
because people, it goes up. If you make Origin, then your money goes up. So, I think if you're a kid that's on the cusp and you're sort of waiting for that, I think that's part of the plan. Plus management, all that kind of stuff. You got to take your time with deals. And it's a whole new club. It's a bit of a risk if you're a player like Munster, it's a risk going to the Dolphins. You've just made. Since 2012, I think, when he debuted, he's been in the grand final or something like every single year or the other year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so you're going from success like that to a club that is just starting. And he's still in the prime of his career. You understand, from Jesse Bromwich and all those sort of other players, he's at the end of his career. He's going to be 32, 33 next year. Felice Kafusi, all those other guys, they're cashing in because they've been down in Melbourne. They've been so successful. Now it's time for them to reap some rewards and get some money at the back end of their career. Munster's already on some decent money. He loves it down in Melbourne, but I know he's a Queenslander as well, so you don't know what can happen.
Well, we'll come back to that actually in terms of whether people will take unders to go to a better club, because I think they will. But one thing with Wayne Bennett, so Wayne Bennett's been, obviously, everyone knows Kalen Ponga circus is over. He signed with Newcastle. One thing I found really odd was that Wayne Bennett, when he was trying to sign Kalen Ponga, sounds like he gave him a bake. Like, how good are you? Do you want to be good? You're comfortable. And I think it got in his dad's feelings a little bit. And when you signed with Newcastle, did Wayne come up to you and say, you're actually not that good?
No,
Willie?
never. No.
Yeah.
And I was 32, but like I was at like Kalen Ponga, and like Wayne knew what I could bring to the club. You know, it was nothing like that. But yeah, you got to. It's a different breed now, isn't it?
I would have loved to have said on that meeting.
So just say one word like that to a young kid. And if you question their like talent and stuff like that could be straight off you.
Off.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's what seems what happened. Like, Wayne goes, "Do you want to be great?" I don't know. Maybe rub Mr. Ponga up the wrong way.
He runs that joint. So, all right. Well, let's just go back to assuming that Wayne doesn't tell every other player that he's trying to sign that
you're average, mate.
You're terrible. You're just not
unders. Good. You better take unders.
Taking unders. So look at I guess a perfect example of sort of the difference between money and club and success. You got Xavier Coates, who just scored 4 tries on the wing. And I'm not using Josh Adokar as a specific example because of the Dogs or whatever, but then you got Josh Adokar who the Storm couldn't keep because, you know, he's a marquee player and he's a state of origin and a test player. So they bought him and they brought him into the systems. Xavier Coates is down there scoring 4 tries on less money than what, you know, Josh Adokar's on. Josh Adokar's now up in a situation where he's starting to get some ball. You know, they're starting to work out how to use him. But ultimately, as a player, how much of the decisions that you make are based just around dollars and how much is like, all right, I'm going to go to this club and like the Dolphins and I'm going to struggle for success for a number of years?
It'll depend where you are in your career. How many rep jerseys you've got in, how much have you won a premiership, have you done this? Like, where the perfect example is Xavier Coates and Josh Adokar. The Fox has been dominant, probably the best winger in the world for the last 3 or 4 years, been in grand finals, won grand finals, played Origin, won Origin, you know, integral parts of all those teams. Xavier Coates, you know, like young, talented as hell, going, you know what, I actually just want success because I don't see the Broncos going like that. I see Melbourne is already up there. All I need to do is do my job. And that's a perfect example. He probably took less money to back himself down there for 2 or 3 years. He's going to be 25 when he comes off contract. Then he can get that big money contract. So that's probably the best scenario for both those guys, you know, like where Fox probably wasn't going to get paid half of what he's getting paid now. You know what I mean? Like he's, you know, and he deserves to get paid because you got to understand these guys are getting older and older. You want 2 or 3 max contracts in your career. Where Xavier Coates has gone, you know what? Even though he's a talent, he's a massive talent. He's like, you know what? I don't see my future here at the Broncos, winning stuff. You know, like would that get my chances higher to play rep football? You know what I mean? Like now you're looking at him going, you're going to get picked for Queensland. He could get picked for Australia. He has that sort of talent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So he's made a strict like rugby league decision. Xavier Coates, not money, not nothing, just success.
Yeah.
And it just depends on where you are in your career. Like Munster could make that decision after next year because what else could he do for Melbourne?
Yeah.
Then like he could go and sign a 3-year deal with the Broncos or the Dolphins and not feel bad about leaving. He's done a lot for that club.
Because Nick Meaney's another one he's come in and he must think it's Christmas all of a sudden.
I mean, you're in Melbourne. It's the best system, the best culture in Australian sports. You just go down there and you just do your job. That's what me and Xavier Coates have done. They've got talent, but Belly just has this knack of getting the best out of you.
Yeah.
Like he gets like 9 out of 10 out of, you know what I mean? Every single week, where other coaches, they don't seem to get the best out of their players.
Xavier Coates runs when he hits space. He runs like he's got Craig Bellamy, and he's terrified of him yelling, and he just can hear his voice. He's just trying to outrun Bellamy's voice.
Spitting on him. And
one other thing, William, let's talk about, because one thing that I've noticed is that the players that cop the most scrutiny in the game, we've talked about this before, but the players that cop the most scrutiny are the ones that are getting paid big money, right? Yeah. So David Fifita goes out into the centres. He has a crack at the centres, which, I mean, from a coaching perspective, I think there were some holes in that decision.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, he's not worth this. Kalen Ponga signs a contract. Everyone wants to have a shot about what he's worth, what he's not worth. Ben Hunt has struggled with that. Ben Hunt's been St George's best player for a number of years.
Taylor.
You know, and Ash Taylor's basically out of the game. Yeah. So
they're both out of the game, Ash Taylor and Milford.
Yeah.
And they had that,
They've been hounded out.
Tag of like the $1 million players. So with that, money becomes, you know, there's a target on you, and it becomes responsibility to be the best player in your team, or at least a top 3 player. But you got to be getting the ball right. You know what I mean? Like Katoni Staggs and all that kind of stuff. Like Fifita is not a centre. Like there's levels to stuff. Like he's a back rower or a lock. You know what I mean? Like
since Talakai, now
yeah,
everyone's a centre.
Like it's just like watch Thursday night and go, oh, if you're big and strong, you can
go in the centres.
It's as if it's all good when Harper's just backing off the whole time. If you know who did Fifita play against?
Who'd they play? Cowboys.
Val Holmes.
Yeah.
He's a world-class player. You know what I mean? So, like, when you're defending it right forward where he usually does, and then you go out further, you're on an island. You're coming against these blokes who are genuinely quicker than you, and centres. You know what I mean? Like, Val Holmes is a gun player. Dave Fifita is a gun player. I'm not putting him against Val Holmes. Sorry. I'm just putting a proper centre in there. I'm leaving him in the back row where he's been going good for the last 2 or 3 weeks. But he just put him out on an island against one of the best outside backs in the world. What do you expect?
And you're kind of forgetting about defensive. It's like, defend out there. Okay.
Look, it's totally different. Like he's a talent, David Fifita. He would have played centres back, 5 years ago when he was in school. He was a lot lighter then.
Yeah.
A lot more agile. But he's still agile as hell, but like there's different levels. Like it would be different if he was coming up against a rookie centre. That's where I would put him in the centres. If opposite is a rookie centre who can't tackle, I'm putting Fifita at centre so he can trample him. Val Holmes is a vet. He's a vet. He knows as soon as Fifita got the ball, he was all over him. Do you know what I mean? Like Fifita had a couple of good runs here and there, but like you can't put him up against like a Val Holmes and expect him to dominate Val Holmes. Like Val Holmes is going, this is disrespectful for you. Even put David Fifita opposite me. I'm going to take him to school.
And imagine a bloke that you want to get the ball, and he's standing on the left edge or the right edge as a second rower, as an edge back rower. And then you go, this will help. Go one out more. Yeah. Go further away from the ball.
Get further away because you can't get the ball as a back row. Let's put you in the centres and see if you get no ball and get schooled and humiliated. Like I don't think he didn't deserve that. As soon as I saw the centre opposite him, I was like, fuck, why would you do that to the kid? Like it's Val Holmes. This dude is not a joke. You know what I mean? Like as I said, if I was a coach, rookie centre, Fifita, get the ball, be the back row, but down there, get in the centres and trample that kid.
How did all your teams feel when you were the highest paid player by about a factor of 10?
They were so proud. Yeah, really stoked. I've never been the highest paid player, ever. Zig.
Is that a new song then? I liked it. Zig's just, he's
testing us
testing
out.
A new one. Does it have swear words in it? We've got to move on from that. All right, let's go with the review preview. The Brisbane Broncos coming off a big win against the Cronulla Sutherland Shark, who put together probably one of the best 40 minutes of footy of the year.
Well, Talakai did.
No.
You know what I'm looking forward to? Stags Talakai. Because Stags owned it. He goes, I'm looking forward to it. You know what I mean? So it's a different, you're playing against a different kid, Talakai. Like, Katoni Staggs is a dog. Like, he's going to come at him big time. This is not Harper, who was backing off the whole time, and Saab not wanting a bar of it, trying to come. He just looked at the sideline and went, thank fuck. Like, Katoni Staggs is going to come at him. And I'm looking forward to that battle. Like, it'll be a good game. I think that was one of the most dominant halves I've ever seen a kid play. Other than, like, maybe Turbo. I think Turbo would have done something like that last year.
Yeah.
Where he was just in a purple patch. But, like, Talakai, like, what else? What couldn't he do? He was running through blokes, drawing past, flick passes, kicking, everything. So, like, and then, I don't know, he's pretty much ruined that Harper's career. He got the hook.
I feel sorry for that.
Do you reckon he
bloke.
got the hook, or was that a coach saving him just more embarrassment?
Oh, and
or
you know what?
or did he get named again this week?
No, he's out. He got dropped. So it does look
that
like
doesn't
a
help. So that does not help that kid's confidence.
No.
That's where you got to understand. Like, Talakai he's a beast. He's a different sort of animal. Like, does it help that Harper's career, or does he just sit back in Reggie's for the rest of his career?
Well, he came out of COVID. I put a tweet up about his mum should come and pick him up from school because he was just getting the older kids were bullying him. But I feel like, I forgot he'd come out of COVID. He probably wasn't feeling the best, and then copping that when you're not feeling the best, it's not.
Guys are different. Yeah, I've never seen that.
Why are we
so quick to put people in Origin?
That's
teams?
what I was just about to say.
We put Talakai straight away in the Origin.
Straight away in the Origin side.
No, I'm not putting him against like Val Holmes or anything like that. It's
exact same reason.
Harper's like, he had an awful game defensively.
Yeah.
They don't defend like that in Origin. They come up in and they slam the shit out of you. So, if anything, Talakai could be on the bench as a 14 because he's a rarity. Like, he's an anomaly. He can play anywhere in the backs and he can play front row, back row, lock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, and it'll be out of them. The 7 for Cronulla, he'll be going for the 14 spot as well. So,
yeah.
you need a player who can play everywhere, especially in Origin, the HIAs, all that kind of stuff. You're going to lose a key player in an Origin game. It's not if, it's when. So, I'm not sticking him at left centre. Like, what about the other kids, like a Bradman Best or a Katoni Staggs, Zach
Crichton.
Lomax, Crichton? These kids
Campbell
that have
Graham.
been waiting for ages. So that's who they're going with. That's just media talk.
That's media talk.
Like guys like Freddie and all that, they know who they're picking.
I
would put him on the bench, but
I was going to say
if he
bench.
can keep doing this, and I would love to see him off the bench for New South Wales. Just get on there and just do your thing, big boy.
He is big.
But not starting left centre. Come on.
No. Broncos good. Broncos all right.
Yeah, who are you picking?
The Sharks will pump them, but Broncos.
They're all right. Payne Haas, what the fuck? The dude went off with an AC and just comes back on and just destroys the Bulldogs. Like, I think he still had 5 hit-ups for like 90 metres or something in his first stint. And then the second one, I swear to God, if we had contained him, we would have gone a long way to winning that game because they were coming out of yardage. I think they made 20 metres and then he takes the last hit up and makes like 25 and then gets him in a good position to kick. There was just a couple of real momentum swings in that game and he was a big part of it. So I think he ran for over 200 metres and 70 minutes.
He's hard going. He is such a tough
He's the best forward in the world. He is.
The Titans and the Panthers. Is it going to be one of those things where anyone who plays the Panthers or the Storm,
you just get smashed
until
just by how far you get. Like, can we compete? This Titans are probably thinking, can we compete with these guys for 60 or 80? They're relentless, the Panthers.
They've moved Brimson to fullback, which I think he's not a 5'8".
No, he needs free rein.
He needs some space. And
have they put Fafita's back? Is he back in the back row?
Fafita's back in the second row.
They've still got a good team, the Titans. They just can't. They're just not.
They don't gel.
No,
There's something.
Not yet.
They've got Jaden Campbell on the extended bench. Look, I hope they keep Brinson there. Will Smith's at 6.
He's good.
He'll do a job
defensively. He will do a job. They'll be competitive. But like the Panthers, like even the Raiders were competitive.
Yeah.
But they just are relentless at what they do. They see how they just monster you in defence as well. They want to kick it to you so they can beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're doing like what Canberra had like a couple. Was it only in the last 3 minutes that they had to play the ball in their half? But. You know how humiliating that is to your middles and your outside backs. You couldn't even get over halfway for 37 minutes. And they'll just they'll kick it to your back five. If your back five aren't animals, you're getting dealt with. They really army kick out just picks people up and just ragdolls them. They'll give you 5 metres or 10 metres and then just drag you back 5 metres.
Yeah.
Like it's a great tactic, especially when you're coming out of yardage. It's so important for your back five to be strong and try and find the ground so much because they'll give you a couple of metres. I think there was one time the Titans hooker ran out and I think he made a really good run and then they just dragged him back like 6 metres
Yeah.
So it took 10 metres and then dragged him back 6, and they ruin your whole set. They've got these little tricks that they do, and they do it so well. And we were talking about it last week about, like, you know, all these penalties and all that kind of stuff because they consistently do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it doesn't look that bad, but they'll take your impact, and then it's like a scrum. It's like 3 people in there and just fucking ragdoll on your back. So if you're like a centre or a winger, or if you're not a big fullback and not a hard runner, man, you're getting smashed. Liam Martin does it probably the best, him and kick out. So both their edge back rolls are amazing at it. And then you got Coruscant and Fisher Harris and the other prop and Isaiah Yeo. Like, they're all on the same page. And these kids, Spencer Lianu coming off the bench, mate, they are just dominant. And it's like they want you to have the ball so they can bash you. That's bad.
Bad feeling.
That's bad.
Yeah. I'll tell you what
I'm
I did
sick of
like.
scoring tries. Let's just beat the shit out of them.
What do you
That's
want to
their
do
attitude.
now? Let's just kick.
Just
them.
kick it clear. I just want to hit someone. I'm bored.
Second tackle, kick it. I liked when Tago got palmed off by Harawira Naira
And just stuck
and
with
he
him.
just kept coming. Yeah. You know, that's why they win.
You can see, like, just the way they play with Brian Toto out right now. Charlie Staines and that other kid, May, look at those two competing against each other on different wings because they know when Toto comes back,
One of them's
one of them's gone, and they're going to make a massive deep run into the finals, probably win it or get into a grand final because that's how much they're competing.
Yeah.
You can just see it. Like, Charlie Staines has never run harder.
No, he hasn't.
He has never run harder. He's played 2s and 3s. He's coming from. They're just doing so much meterage because they know when Toto comes back, he gets on the left wing
Straight in.
and you know what I mean. The only difference is Staines can May play on the right side. I think he can play wherever he wants.
Yeah.
He's just a footballer kid. So it's dangerous. They've got a team out there that is, and it's not just the team. I watched their reserve grade and their flag and their Harold Matson SG ball. I think they smashed every single level of Canberra.
Yeah.
One of them by 60.
Ugh.
It's like there's a production line out there that could last for the next 5 to 10 years.
Heard it here first. Get on
Scary.
Twitter. Thanks, Scoop.
That dude calls me Scoop again. I'm fucking blocking
There's
him.
about 4 of them.
Ugh, I don't even
Scoop.
read it.
They
I
just-
just tweet and get that out of there.
Just drop it and leave. And then I have to clean up. So the Rabbitohs against the Sea Eagles. Manly, look, South's obviously lost a game that everyone expected them to win this week.
Yeah, give credit to the
last week.
Tigers,
but the
Come
Tigers
on,
are going
man.
well.
Tigers aren't a bad team.
Yeah,
We're all
Tigers
over. Yeah, I love the
I love
Tigers.
we've always loved
I love
the Tigers.
Madge. I love everyone. Great culture,
Best culture.
winning.
Just cannot stop winning. Manly are in a little bit of strife this year. I mean, they've had injuries. They've got no forwards this week, pretty much.
Turbo.
And then I'll tell you what doesn't help. When John Schuster, who is a brilliant, brilliant player, his dirtbag manager comes out, he's going to play 5'8", or we're going to take him. Shut up. Shut up, managers. Go under your dirty little stinking
And I feel
rocks.
sorry for Schuster because he hasn't said a word.
Never said a word.
And now everyone else thinks he's like
Greedy again.
He's greedy and wants money and stuff. Like, the kid's injured. Let the kid come back and kill it and let his football do the talking. Come on, man. If I was my manager would never say anything like that. If Sammy Abe or Greg Keenan said anything about my game, I'm sacking him.
And essentially what they're saying is you need to move Kieran Foran on at the end of the year. So Kieran Foran,
like,
who's
shut up.
he's done, like, he's won comps with Manly. You know, he's been really good for him too the last couple of
Schuster
years.
is a back rower.
Well,
Like, I mean,
apparently his manager says he's not. Will he's
his
getting
manager?
5'8" money. I don't know. Grubby McGruberson.
But that's the whole thing, eh? Like, back rowers or 5'8". 5'8" get more money. So
Well,
it's a
more money.
strategic thing. But, like, just shut up and let the kid play.
Yeah.
He's going to have to do it himself. You're not on the field playing. You do his deal, and that's it. Don't come out and talk football. I don't know who you are, but just shut up.
Imagine Sam.
Could be
Ayub.
Sam Ayub. Sorry, Sammy.
The Warriors. Well, who wins that game? It's a good game, actually. I think
Always a good game.
South will win.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
I hope Morgan Harper has an absolute stormer in reserve grade too.
Yeah.
Warriors Raiders at Moreton
low
Daily.
game.
Where is this Moreton Daily? Look it up.
Out in the country?
Oh, it's Redcliffe's Oval.
Redcliffe. They've been playing some good games there.
Are they going to try and kidnap some of these blokes to play for the Dolphins?
This is signing straight away.
Straight away.
Sign this. Oh, it's a contract.
Contract.
It's a contract.
Autographs. They're sending
Can you-
10-year-old
can you-
kids.
can you
sign
sign
my
this,
autographs, please? Mister. wouldn't
Who
sign
would
anyone,
decide anyone from the Warriors and Raiders?
Warriors haven't been. That was bad last week.
Sign this, Mr. Whiten? Oh, it's a contract. It's a 3-year deal.
I feel sorry though for the Warriors because they have, but like maybe that was just that half where they were like, "What are we doing? We've been living away from home for 3 years."
70.
Under the post, just going.
What are you thinking when it's like 44-0? Oh, mate, yeah, that's a hole that you cannot get into quick enough.
I wasn't watching it.
Get me off
live. I was, and then I went back and I checked the score or something, and it was 14-10 at half time, and then I checked the score.
I was shocked too because I didn't watch the game.
And it was 50-10. I was like, what just happened?
How did you
Ryan
capitulate like
Pappenhausen.
that? I think the Warriors, oh man, especially on Anzac Day, it's usually a great battle.
Well, they've left Group 1 company and they've gone back to Group 3 against the Raiders. So that should be a decent game. The Roosters against the Bulldogs. The Roosters have been extremely unimpressive. I think Luke Keary probably needs to run the side more than he is. I think at the moment with Keary and Walker, they both play similar styles of footy.
Yeah.
And I think Walker's going to always play what's in front of him. That's the way he wants to play. And I think Keary's done that in the past too. But they probably lack someone that's directing him around the park a little bit. So...
They just seemed they were all over the shop on the weekend. They just didn't look like they were really off. That wasn't the Roosters, so I wouldn't be worried about them. They just got to figure out a few things out. Their forwards were still, they were just really off. I was at the game. I was just like, ooh, I could tell in the first 15 minutes. Usually they come out their line and they just beat the shit out of you defensively. So they'll get back to their defensive sort of systems this week against the Bulldogs. So they'll be expected to win that, even though the Bulldogs will.
The Bulldogs will win though.
Eels and Cowboys.
Eels win that. I think Cowboys actually, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, this is not.
They're a good side. Like, I think Todd Payton last year, there was obviously some, I don't know whether it was the fact that his messaging wasn't getting through. They were used to it. So they'd had a coach for a long time.
Yeah.
And maybe the way that he coached didn't, because that can happen, they come in and
takes a little
players.
bit.
But this year, I'll tell you what, that Helam Lukey,
that Lukey's a good kid.
oh, he can play.
Strong. Oh, my
So
God.
strong.
Like
And
a
they've
prototype back rower. He's just coming off the bench. He gets named in the starting side, but he comes off the bench. Taumalolo's really owning that leadership role. And I think that's what Todd Payton was trying to get out of him. Yeah, because he had such great leaders up there when he was in his prime with JT and Morgan, Matt Scott, James Tarmow, Cooper, all these big names. You've lost over 1,000 games right there, probably more. And then he was just doing JT things, Taumalolo things, just dominating games. But he didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to say much. Now I think Toddy's really got that leadership out in him, and he's playing. He's back to his best. He's back to his best. He's coming off both feet. And understand, last year he was injured the whole of last year. Those years where he was the best player in the world, he wasn't injured at all.
Yeah.
You got to understand that. And he was playing a lot of football. Now he's got his minutes to about 50, 60 minutes. Like, he's dominant as hell. He's got some help now. He's got those young back rowers that can actually play, and their halves are doing their job, and the hookers are doing their job. You know what I mean? So that makes his job a lot easier. He can just do what he does, which is destroy teams single-handedly.
You've always said that the way you judge the strength of a team is looking at their bench. Now, if you look at the Cowboys, they literally have got 3 forwards that
on the bench
swap in and out of the starting side. So they've got Lukey, they've got Gilbert, they've got Ruben Cotter, who always gets names. He's unreal.
I bet he plays for Queensland.
Yeah.
He's got Origin written all over him.
He looks like the bloke that if he spills your Woodstock and bourbon, you know what I mean, and then tries to fight you in a pub. He looks like one of those blokes.
I reckon he'll play Origin this year. Just say if they lose game 1 or something, he'll come in game 2 or 3. And
he's a footballer.
And he just looks like he's just built for Origin.
Yeah.
You know, one of those typical like Dallas Johnson sort of off that sort of mould, come in there and just cut everyone to bits.
Because I think if you look at their bench and the fact that it's interchangeable with their starting side, that is something. The Cowboys actually, they're a moral to make the 8. There you go. A moral.
Because you got some good kids in there. From even that Jermaine Tanua-Brown, he's a good kid, so he can't even make their run on. He can't even make their bench.
Side, yeah.
Well, what are you going to do with Tabio Fido?
Drinkwater's killing it.
Drinkwater's killing it, and what are you going to And so is Tuolangi.
Yeah.
Val Holmes, Perahiku, Cole Felt.
Good problem.
It's been really good, man. Chad Townsend and Dearden been working really good together.
Yeah, they have.
He's a little rat bag, Dearden. You can just tell.
He
goes hard. He rips in. He rips in really hard. Like he was just part of. And who's been playing really good? Jordan McLean.
Yeah, he has.
He's been playing well. He's been doing some real tough runs, and he's been clearing the way for Taumalolo. So Taumalolo's not taking the first hit up or second hit up. He's on the third or fourth all the time because he's doing his job, McLean, and Colin Hess has been good. So he just all he needed was find a little bit of balance. He doesn't have to do everything Taumalolo.
Must be a contract year for McLean because he's been missing for a couple.
Yeah. And
Dolphins, signing.
He can play. Like he's a big guy. Come from that Melbourne system. He can play. Just been a few little injuries here and there. Now he seems to be fully fit and he's making some massive meterage. He's going all right.
Well, I'm all on the Cowboys now. I should have backed them.
Knights and Storm.
Next.
Storm, yeah. Dragons and Tigers. That's going to be one of the best games of the round.
I've tipped the Tigers because I'm all in. I'm all in on the Tigers now because all it takes is a little bit of a little bit of success, and the team starts to bond. I'll tell you what I liked. I said it last week. I love the way that Jackson Hastings is that player that supports his. Like if he's doing it in public, then you know that behind the scenes he's texting his mates, he's finding out. He's gelled them together.
Become a real leader.
Yeah,
it's good. That's probably the best thing that's happened to him was go overseas, get doubted, and then come back and be a dominant player.
Willie's Big Boys.
Here we go. The big boys have just been killing it all year. It's hard to go past Talakai for 3 points, isn't it? I don't care if he's in the centres or nothing. He's about 120 kilos. He's built like a little granite truck. So he's going to get my 3 points. 2 points, Payne Haas. He's just playing at a ridiculous level. I think he played like 65, 70 minutes. The only time he went off, he lost those minutes because he went off. He was nearly solely responsible for getting Brisbane back on track. 1 point, James Tarmow for the Tigers. He's been playing outstanding. Like he's got back to his old style. He's running about 160 metres. Like all these guys are easily running 180, 200 metres now. It's easy. They're taking a lot of kickoffs and all that kind of stuff. But through the middle, a lot more play the balls. It's good. But I couldn't go past Talakai. That's one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen. Payne Haas, James Tarmow. So what's our leaderboard look like? We've got Campbell Gillard's on 8. Right. Talakai 6 and Junior Paulo and Payne Haas are on 5. So it's going to be hard again.
This could be the first time that a centre is in the running for the big boys.
Yeah, have you seen him?
He is a big boy.
He's fucking huge.
He could play anywhere. I really hope that by next week they have removed last year's total winnings from the top because all it does is what is this, round 6 or 7 or something?
And it's just round 8? Round 7 or 8? Round 8. We haven't won a thing.
Oh, that's just so bad.
I'm relying on you. I was Tupou. If Tupou had scored on the weekend, what? We would have won?
Do you know what? I'm going to give you a little bit of punting advice. Stop going the early crow. As soon as you get a few up out of your multi, you're straight on the text claiming.
Excited.
Just stop doing it. Early crow means guaranteed you won't win.
Reckon?
Guaranteed. It's a thing.
Close.
Close does not pay the bills.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we will be giving $0 to a lucky club of $0. Well done. Awful. You should listen to the show and not follow our tips. Anything that we tip the opposite. You will be extremely wealthy. So this week, I'm actually embarrassed about some of these bets.
Yeah,
I've gone. Do you know what though? This one I did on the table 5 seconds before we came on, but I have gone the Rabbitohs to cover the 3.5 into the Knights Storm overs because I think that'll be a high scoring game because the Knights can't tackle, and the Raiders head to head over the Warriors.
Righto. Can you read mine out? Because I don't understand it.
So, this is the best segment ever.
Oh, man.
So, we've got the Cronulla Sharks head-to-head. We've got Taylor and May to score at any time. We've got the Eels and the Cowboys to be over 40.5. And we've got the Knights and the Storm to be over 40. Oh, same as me. So, whoever puts your bets on for you agrees with me.
Producer.
And that's paying $6.83. So between the two of us, we're going to have $600 odd there, which is a good start. And then the producer,
West Coast, GWS, and Essendon to win. It's $1,000 if we get that. Wow.
That means
That means that they're all going to get beat by 60.
They're all going to get 100 foot on them. I don't know much about AFL, but if that's paying $20 for 3 legs, that is just 3 teams that cannot win.
All right. Tips. My tips for the week: Sharks, Panthers, Rabbits, Raiders, Bulldogs, Eels, Storm and Dragons. You're right. My loyalty towards the Bulldogs has cost me 5 points.
So honestly now, if I look at that, I'm 6 ahead of you. There's 7 rounds. If you didn't tip the Dogs every week, they've won 1 game.
Yeah.
You would be equal.
Yeah.
So
we're equal.
I'm not going to – do you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to – unless I win by more than – how many rounds are there? How many games can the Bulldogs lose? 26. I have to beat you by 26.
Yeah. 26. Well, I said 16.
16.
Great maths.
No, well, they can win a few. They'll win a few. The Bulldogs will win games.
Yeah.
What have I gone? I've gone everything the same as you except for the Roosters. Oh, no, I've taken the Tigers because I'm all on Tiger Town now. And the producer, who's actually not putting these in anymore, Henry is.
So Henry's got Sharks, Panthers, Eagles, Warriors, Roosters, Eels, Storm and Tigers.
So I feel like even if the producer wasn't – because he was coming dead last. And now that he's got someone who somewhat knows, he's disqualified. He's disqualified.
He's given up at round 8. Come on, mate. Come on.
Now we've got one question. I'll just go into the Twitter. Elon Musk, they're going to call it from now on. The Musk files. Why does anyone care if he buys it? I don't understand.
Why is it a big deal?
I don't know.
Because Elon Musk and he can buy what the fuck he wants.
I know.
Rich.
He's a weird human being.
Rich.
He should buy this show.
He should buy this.
Buy the show, Elon.
His best investment. Give me the question.
Sin bins. Everyone's saying Tupu should have been binned, but what we should be saying is that 90% of bins to date should not have been used only for repeat offences or pro fouls in try scoring position. Thoughts?
I agree. I think they're happy just to send people off for 10 straight away. It doesn't. It can cost games. You know what I mean? Like just even with like Marshall King a couple of weeks ago getting sent off, that changed the whole game.
Yeah, it did.
You know what I mean? So the refs either, I don't know, maybe a fine system or something like that because it is, I mean, you do have to be disciplined in this game. You know, like the reason why Marshall King would have got sent off because we give probably 5 penalties, 5-60 goes down there. And, you know, they would have spoke to the captain and said, look, next one is going to go for 10. So you do it again, then you get sent. But like some of them are just real, I don't know, it just seems like refs just blow it too early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just don't think people understand, like they just don't do it for nothing. You know what I mean? It's repeat offences. You don't see it because they let these 60 goes go all the time. So you're not seeing penalties blown all the time, but refs get pissed off. They get all these little things like they sit in these little meetings all week and they go, what are we going to fucking pick on this week? That's exactly what they do. What can we pick on this week to ruin the game? And they'll do that.
Yeah, it's true though. And they do. You know, and again, for
Let's
everyone,
get petty. Let's make the most pettiest rule and just pick on that.
I love when Anthony Griffin said last year on Magic Round he would have had 2 years in jail. He probably would have too. Do not pass go. Well, that concludes another week of probably the greatest show
of all time,
podcast of all time.
All right, we're going to be tweeting all weekend. So rate and review, masonstake.com. Get onto it. It's the best website in the world. Buy it, Elon Musk. Buy it.
Following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL is Willie Mason.
I've forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
You've been listening to The Take with Willie Mason and co-host Ian Byrne. Produced by Craig Trewick, recorded and engineered by Zig Parker of Green Room Sydney, and presented by the Handshake Media Network.